Please be seated.
Thank you.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
I am trying something new. Homework will only consist of work that your student did not finish during the school day. There will be no formally assigned homework this year. Research has been unable to prove that homework improves student performance. Rather, I ask that you spend your evenings doing things that are proven to correlate with student success. Eat dinner as a family, read together, play outside, and get your child to bed early. Thanks, Mrs. Brandy Young. I'm not necessarily advocating that we don't send homework home to our students. I know in my case, when I was in middle school, someone in their infinite wisdom thought it was a good idea to throw the alphabet in their math equations. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't understand it. I asked for extra help from the teacher. I asked for help from the other students. I didn't get it. So even though my parents didn't know anything, I went home and I asked Dad. I had to swallow my pride and see if Dad could help me. He in fact did. He was able to show me a way where it just clicked. So I can see where homework does have its place. But also I wanted to share it got me looking for these studies, and this is what I found. Children whose families are engaged in their education are more likely to earn higher grades and score higher on tests, graduate from high school and college, develop self-confidence and motivation in the classroom, and have better social skills and classroom behavior. In one study, researchers looked at longitudinal data on math achievement and found that effectively encouraging families to support students' math learning at home was associated with higher percentages of students who scored at or above proficiency on standardized math achievement tests. Students whose parents are involved in school are also less likely to suffer from low self-esteem or development behavioral issues, researchers say. And classrooms with engaged families perform better as a whole, meaning that the benefits affect virtually all students in a classroom. So I know we're making a big effort to treat students with their issues at school. But I think we also, in addition to that, need to make an effort to make an outreach to our parents. Because I fear that we'll be treating the symptom too much instead of treating the root cause. There's a real lack of parental involvement these days. I think if we can somehow make an effort to reach to the parents, some of the issues that we're seeing these last couple years will start to subside. So anyway, food for thought, thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Gann?
I just want to congratulate Lyndhurst's football team as an alumni of Lyndhurst. It is rare to have 3 back-to-back wins, and so I look forward to see more wins out of the football team. I look forward to see more wins out of the sports team out of Lyndhurst. And most importantly, I look forward to see the football team play in the new stadium that's going to be coming in April of next year. So congratulations, Lyndhurst.
Thank you. Ms. Hasty?
Yes, welcome all who are here this evening, and thank you for being so supportive.
Thank you. Doug Criddle?
No comments tonight.
Gary Criddle? Well, we certainly welcome you all, and I know we're just in the beginning of the second month of our school year, and we're just so excited to see everybody on campus. And so I hate this thing. The involvement of the parents, as Mr. Steeman has mentioned, is absolutely critical to the recovery of our children. And we have a bunch of children that are still trying to figure out what to do after COVID. And so it's taking a lot of patience for everybody to be sensitive, but I know everybody's doing the best they can. So thank you very much. Now we have recognitions.
All right, let's get this party started. I have visions of Kool and the Gang and confetti coming up from the rafters. So we have a good many folks getting recognition tonight, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to begin first with, I'm going to call up Chief Kyle Hergerstrom, the Fire Chief of Marysville and Linda Fire Departments, and Chief Randy York, Fire Chief of the Olivehurst Fire Department. Please come on down. Yes, go through the receiving line. In honor of your dedication, commitment, and continued sacrifice, the MJUSD Board of Education recognizes and thanks you for your service. Congratulations.
I don't see this getting certificates, right?
Pictures. They can take some pictures, yes.
Do you want everyone to come up or just the...
Yeah, if there's others, I'm sorry. I wasn't looking behind me. Come on down, all of you. Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work. I heard that from you. Isn't that how you assign your team? Teamwork makes the dream work? Once again, congratulations and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Perfect. Okay, ready? 1, 2.
Thank you. Next, we are recognizing the MCAA as one of the best high schools in the nation award. If Mr. Preston and Mr. Lohman, if you can please come on up. The Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts earned the high national and metro area rankings in the top 40% as reported in U.S. News and World Report. That's a national publication, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to the leadership, staff, students, and families who helped earn MCAA status as one of the country's best high schools. If any other staff members are here from MCAA, come on down and be recognized. Thank you. students, staff, families, parents. This is a community award for the school. Come on down. Congratulations. Tonight, we are also recognizing Miss Gwen Ford from Loft Industries. Miss Ford, if you could please come on up. Thank you. Gwen Ford of Loft Industries has assisted the College and Career Department with internship connections, the CTC District Advisory Committee, and is supplying students with the gear they need to wear for the LHS mock trial. We want to acknowledge and appreciate Ms. Ford's positive impact to our community and to our students. Congratulations. Thank you, Ms. Ford. Tonight, we are also recognizing the Schools First Federal Credit Union. The Schools First Credit Union has presented the Bite of Reality financial education to classrooms throughout the district, including adult education. This hands-on real-world money management simulation is both engaging and life-changing. We have Brittany Owens here to accept this award on behalf of the Schools First Federal Credit Union. Congratulations and thank you.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes, yes, Mom. All right, thank you. We are also recognizing those who helped us do the YCOE and MJUSD Back to School Bash. This year's event tied together the generosity of our community and business partners and made it a fun event for families. The event was a huge success, and it would not have been possible without the collaborative efforts of key leaders. From YCOE, the new superintendent of schools, Mr. Rob Greger, and Brendan Messina. And from MJUSD, leaders James Lohman and Zachary Pless. Thank you, gentlemen. Come on down. Want to squeeze in or get on top, one or the other, and let's take a picture, celebratory picture. Thank you.
Oh, that's perfect. Nice. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Excellent, thank you. We didn't have recognitions in, let's see, we're in August, so that's why we have so many today, okay? We also are recognizing those who helped contribute to the state of our school dinner. Staff members from our fabulous Nutrition Services Department were honored to support MJUSD State of the Schools Dinner by creating 2 delicious dishes featuring locally sourced ingredients. We acknowledge this group of nutrition services as a whole with their continued support in fostering relationships with community parents and providing delicious and nutritious meals to our students. Who's here? We got, please come on up. Nick Dramis, our Culinary Operations Supervisor. Laura Moreno, Nutrition Site Manager. Please come on down, folks. Karina Galvin, Nutrition Site Manager. And Amber Green, Nutrition Services Director. Thank you. There's a few others, but they couldn't be here tonight, so thank you for also coming, Nutrition Services.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
And finally, we also, as you know, conduct our own local MJUSD staff and student recognition program each month. And this year, for performance that demonstrates kindness, leadership, and impact, we are going to ask and call up the following students. Thomas Duckles from Foothill. Jace Howard from Loma Rica. Renee Moya from Arboga. Ashton Charlton from Browns Valley. Amy Baeza from MCAA. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there for pictures. Sierra Williams from Cedar Lane. And Cora Jeffries from Kynoch. Okay, so you all line up there. We want to get some nice pictures. If we got moms and dads and families in the house, please come on up, take pictures.
That works. Okay, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Excellent, congratulations. And of course, those outstanding students don't do it all by themselves. We also want to recognize some key staff members who also received recognition this month. Serena Wright from McKinney. Crystal Castro from Education Services District Office. Leah Triplett from Edgewater. Kayla Holmes from Foothill. Elizabeth Preston from the College and Career Department District Office. Barbarita Anguiano from McKinney. Kevin Hargrave from Linda. And Dan Joel from IT. Maybe we can have some get up on stage. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, ready? Perfect. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Now we have our high school representatives. Marysville High School, are you here tonight? Please state your name.
Alrighty, good evening. My name is Bailey Dakin and I serve as Marysville High School's ASB president. I'm here today to update you all on the exciting events happening here at MHS. To look back on the past couple of weeks, Back to School Night was just this past Wednesday. It was a great opportunity for students and families to become engaged with their classes and meet new teachers on campus. Speaking of new faces, we are very excited to welcome 17 new faculty members to campus this year. We've also had a great start to our football season. The student section has had a great turnout for every home game, and we have had a blast hosting lunchtime activities to boost school spirit and engagement. Within the next few weeks, ASB looks forward to announcing our fall homecoming theme, which is currently in the works of planning. We also have Club Rush this week during lunch on 14th and 15th. There are many clubs such as Science Olympiad, Student Council, tennis, drama, cross country that will all have tables out on 18th Street. Our annual College and Career Fair will also be taking place on the 28th of this month. We expect a great turnout of students and a wide variety of organizations and colleges on campus. Another thing we are looking forward to is our gym floor that is being redone. We have just received news that should be done soon, which is very exciting. ASB is especially happy to carry out different events such as rallies on our new gym floor. That's all for you now. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Lyndhurst High? Anybody from Lyndhurst tonight? Okay. Marysville Charter Academy for the Arts. Please state your name.
Hello, everyone. My name is Garrett Granger, 2Rs, 2Ts, as many of you know. So first things first, I'm going to go in chronological order from the last board meeting till a couple weeks from now. Back to School Night, that was quite a few weeks ago now. That was the week after the last board meeting. We had a really good turnout. We had a very high percentage of the new students' parents and even the students come to Back to School Night. It was really fun walking to each classroom during each of those presentations and watching just how many parents there were. It's really exciting. School Spirit Week, I believe that was the week, that same week leading up to the school dance. We had, again, a significant amount of participation. We saw very many of our new students, many 7th graders participating. On Wednesday, we had our anything but a backpack day. We added that one last year, and it's been really fun. I think someone brought a microwave to put their stuff in, so that was really fun to watch. And again, each year we're getting more and more participation ever since COVID, and I'm excited to see that participation continue to go up as the school year rises instead of go down as I think it's done in the past. Seniors have done a great job so far in the past 2 years ever since COVID. A lot of the responsibilities of the senior class, like getting senior sweatshirts done or choosing prom venues, has kind of gone on the wayside and been chosen really late, and makes things really stressful. But this school year, we've already got a prom venue chosen, and I'm pretty sure we're almost done voting for senior sweatshirts. And so I'm really excited. I trust the people who are in that senior leadership to continue making sure that they stay ahead instead of are chasing themselves to keep up. Club Fair, we had that just last week on Thursday and Friday. Again, a lot of participation. We saw a representative for pretty much each club out there, and we had a lot of signups. It's always exciting to see everyone out in the quad and participating. You guys many of you were just there, the dance studio. We just got it. I myself performed there, and a lot of my friends performed there. And I already expressed my gratitude for us being able to have that. Coming up next Friday is our blood drive, our biannual blood drive. We have one each semester. And it just goes to show how much work our Excel Club is putting in, I believe Excel Club puts that one on. Excel Club is putting in to make sure that community service events are happening and that students are available and capable of doing things for the community. Unfortunately, I myself won't be able to participate because my last one was over summer and it's too early. The college representatives and the Yuba College little travel thing is coming up. I believe that's, again, next Friday. Miss Batchelder, our school counselor, is going to be bringing as many seniors as she can over to Yuba College, where there's going to be a bunch of college representatives from different colleges, which will be a really good chance for seniors to learn more about different colleges as, you know, applications are in full force. Finally, Dragon Fest. Our auditions are 2 weeks from now. We're gonna have a Dragon Fest. It's basically our big talent show to get more people in the quad and show off everyone's skills. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Thank you for your time and consideration. And yeah.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from North or South Lyndhurst High School? Okay, we're going to move to the employee organizations. Muta?
Good evening, Mr. Davis, rest of the board, and everybody here with us this evening. I'm Angela Stiegel. I am the president for the Marysville Unified Teachers Association, and I am also the CTA liaison to the State Board of Education. This evening, I would like to start off my comments to the board with, of course, a whole lot of thank yous. We have about 510 teachers that are working innumerable hours on every single day to make sure that we are providing the best possible education for our students, but also establishing and continuing on with the relationships that we pride ourselves on that we have with our students, which is the first and foremost thing that aids our students in the education that they're receiving here at Marysville Joint Unified. As well, we have a very strong community. We have a community that backs us, and so I believe every single school site in this district has received donations from members of and businesses within our community as we've started the school year. And I do believe that, especially for what a lot of people term a small town or a small community, we have a whole lot of support, and it far exceeds the actual size of our community. We have students that have received backpacks and clothing. We have school sites that have received donations for everything from Shady Creek to band to marching bands and everything in between. And so we owe a giant debt of gratitude to our community, our alumni who support us, as well as, like I said, our teachers who as well have been very supportive. I've mentioned to the board before that our teachers spend hundreds and thousands of dollars out of their own pockets for school supplies and for needs for our students in order to help them along, as do other personnel at our sites, all the way from admin and our janitors, our secretaries, our transportation people, people at the district office, and everybody in between. It's not a singular person, it's not a singular group, and it's not a singular act. As well, I have some thank yous to extend to our assistant superintendents. So first off, because I'll just go from like left to right because that'll make it easier, then I won't forget anybody. So Jennifer Pasalia, we of course want to thank her. She has been getting information together for us for an awfully long time, and I know sometimes when we ask it's like the worst possible time because she's doing about 900 other things. And so we appreciate all of the information we get, but also there's a lot of stuff that goes on within maintenance, facilities, transportation that all kind of falls on her, and so anytime we have questions, she is right there to answer and do everything she can to help us out. So much appreciated. Also, Dr. Simon, he actually let me tag along yesterday. I got to go to a conference, the Teacher Residency Lab, that is through basically the same organizations that our LMI is through. And so we did that yesterday in Sacramento, and we learned a lot. And we got ourselves a couple of tidbits of information that is already going to prove to be very, very helpful. But within that also, all of our new teacher pathways work that Dr. Simon is doing to try to get us more teachers in here and new teachers and try to retain them as well is greatly appreciated because, as we all know, we're in a teacher shortage. So not a surprise. So thank you again. And I got to work with Jay Trujillo last week. He and I got to meet. We are establishing some collaboration between us in regards to a couple of items, one of which is on the agenda. But it was really nice to sit down and have a conversation with Jay. And so thank you again for your time. He actually even came all the way over to my classroom so that I didn't have to make the trek over here and try to find parking and all that. So much appreciated. But it's also, I think, another avenue of collaboration between the teachers union and the district office, and particularly Ed Services, that is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. So beyond that, now I got all my thank yous out of the way. So now I have something to ask of the board that I'm not so sure that it's going to happen, but I'm going to ask, and I'm going to do like I tell my students, ask nicely and say please. So I'm going to ask the board to please pull an item from the consent agenda. And I'm sure it's one that you've probably already been told that there's an issue with. But consent agenda item 14.11, that is the course request for CTE academic success and career exploration. I would ask, and the union would ask, that that item be pulled, and for a number of reasons. I wish I didn't have to go into them now, but considering my fear is that if I don't, you may just go ahead and approve it under consent because you don't know some of the issues that may be going on. This is a rewrite of an agenda item that already came forward, but I will tell you right now that this new course request has not at all followed the district's established protocols, because I have the protocols right in front of me for the new course textbook approval. First off, it says for a new course that teachers at a site propose the new course or identify the need for revisions to an extending course and discuss with the site department chair, counseling department administration. I can guarantee you that hasn't happened because I know for a fact that that course did not come from a teacher to start with. It also was not discussed with our counselors. It was not discussed with teachers at the site. I know that because I work there. And so that's one. The next one, department chair communicates with department chairs at other high schools. My understanding is there was zero communication between the two. They were simply asked to just sign the form. They were told, yeah, we just need your signature on the form for the new course proposal. Teachers revise the course outline. Department members from each school are encouraged to work collaboratively. That didn't happen because this course proposal is not coming from any teachers. Absolutely, positively, 100% not coming from any teacher anywhere in this district. Along with that, we also have Ed Services. We'll place it on the agenda. That has happened. Completed revised forms are reviewed, signed by all high school department chairs during the joint department chair meeting. None of the other department chairs at Marysville High School know anything about this course. I would venture the same out at Lyndhurst, although I know at least 2 of them don't. I haven't had a chance to reach all of them. Then also there's the issue of the course of the textbook. Now, granted, it does say that there's just a supplementary material. The get focused, stay focused as far as being a supplement, the only thing I know is that that really is the only thing that's going on there. But also there's an attempt going on for students to be able to double count credits, which is going to get our students in a really bad way very, very quickly, because that is simply a hard pass, a big no, as my students would say. And so at this point in time, this course still is not what needs to be approved for Marysville High School or for any site in Marysville Joint Unified School District for that matter. It is also a non-college prep course. The last time WASC was at Marysville High School, they called us out for the number of non-college prep classes we had, and we were put under a directive that we needed to eliminate our non-college prep courses, which is exactly what we have done. And so why now we have an addition to is beyond me. I don't want to openly, publicly say exactly what I know and believe has happened as far as how this course is coming forward, but I can guarantee you it's not coming from teachers. I can guarantee you it's not best for our students. I can guarantee you there's not a need for it on my campus, as a matter of fact. And I can also tell you that it has not even followed the established protocols for Marysville Joint Unified, nor from the teachers union, because there has been no curriculum team meeting on it. There's been no communication within the teachers union. I will say that Dr. Israni did pull this previously to have it get worked on, and I'm going to take a wild guess, and I could be wrong, and she can tell me so when I'm done, but I'm guessing that the work that she thought was going to be done on this, that maybe even she had suggested be done on it, has not. And so it's a false bill of goods I'm asking that you pull it, and then beyond that, I'm asking that you either vote no on it or put it back to the drawing board something, because this is not how a new course should happen at a high school anywhere. It shouldn't be that just 2 days before school starts, we all of a sudden hear that we have this, and now we're having to battle it, and we have students that are caught in the middle of this. We have parents who aren't happy about it, and so this is not what we need. We do, in fact, have needs for our students. This isn't one of them. Thank you for your time, and again, thank you to all of the 510 teachers for Marysville Unified Teachers Association.
Thank you. Now we have Operating Engineers Local Union number 3.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Felix Mario Huerta Jr. I'm the official representative for the Operating Engineers Local Union number 3. We represent 400 employees that work for the Marysville Joint Unified School District. I wanted to bring to your attention a matter that has to do with bargaining our contract. And so we brought to your attention last year, if I could. Last year, we submitted a letter that you'll receive here shortly that outlines the sunshine proposals that we made to the district. And if you remember, in 2021-22, the assistant superintendent at the time, Mr. Carrion, negotiated an agreement with us that we would have a multi-year contract. And it clearly states from 22 to 25. And so one of my goals here at Marysville Joint Unified School District was to get a comprehensive MOU that captured all of the side letters that had existed. If you remember going back a couple of years, the contract that was online was an old contract, 2008-10 contract, and there were 15 years of side letters or one-year contracts that had modified the contract. And so one of the goals that I came here with 3 years ago was to try to update the contract into one document. And so you'll notice, we propose to update the current MOU by incorporating all side letters in existence to have a complete and comprehensive MOU. I'm glad to say that with Dr. Simon's support, we were able to get that done on August 31st. So what you have posted online is in fact an updated contract that also incorporates 2023-24 and 24-25 in the contract. And so if you'll notice, the next thing is we sought open sunshine proposals submitted to the district in a hearing, wages for 23-24 and 24-25. Now, in the last 2 sessions of bargaining, we were told by your chief negotiator that they were not prepared to negotiate wages for 23-24 since they have an old way of doing it. And that's that old way that I was talking about earlier, where a side letter was drafted in March, April, May, retroactive to July 1. I don't do that anyplace else in the world where I bargain, except here. And we want to change that practice, which is we want to have the contract comply with the law. The second thing we talked about was benefits. And so you'll notice on the page 2, on the back page, there's the actual sunshine proposal. Now you neglected to identify 23-24 wages and 24-25 wages, but we sunshined it publicly. Now the next thing you'll find is a copy of the Education Employee Relations Act, the actual page that identifies the different sections of the chapter. On the very next page, which is going to be found on Chapter 4, Article 4, here's what I said to Dr. Simon at the 2 rounds of bargaining, because I've been doing this 25 years. I know the law. The duty to meet and confer and meet and negotiate in good faith requires the parties to begin negotiations prior to the adoption of the final budget to ensure year sufficiency in advance of such adoption date so that there is adequate time for agreement to be reached or for the resolution of an impasse. What that means is you start bargaining in January, February, March to get to a July budget. And because you're doing budget negotiations during that time, the contract negotiations needs to take place in a timely fashion. The law states it. When I raised this with Dr. Simon at the last meeting, he said something that I found shocking and surprising. Well, we have to wait till the May revise that we don't want to change our past practice. The May revise has nothing to do with the state budget that's already been passed, the 23-24 state budget, which is approved, and your school budget, which was already approved. The May revise is for the 24-25 school year that's coming up in May for the next budget. So I was shocked and surprised that he said that because it is inaccurate information. So we asked him when he would be sunshining proposals for us. He said at the next board meeting. That's today. There's nothing on the agenda for sunshining proposals for wages or benefits for 23-24. So did he provide accurate information to me or inaccurate information to me? That's what I'm dealing with. Lastly, I want to point out the last page of this Article 4 says, refusal or failure to meet and negotiate in good faith with the exclusive representative. This is what's known as an unfair labor practice. Knowingly providing exclusive representative with inaccurate information. Somebody raised the May revise that has nothing to do with bargaining. Whether or not in response to a request for information regarding the financial resources of the public school district constitutes a refusal or failure to meet and confer in good faith. You tell me. I don't want to negotiate the old way. I want to negotiate in a timely fashion for the fiscal year that we're in right now. I don't want to wait till March or April of next year. That's what the law says. Finally, I have one more document to share with you. We made a request for information about some custodians and their hours. Dr. Simon said he would update the document. I have the date that he submitted that and the date that he said he would update it. August 30th. Felix will update the document. Here it is, the 12th of September. It's still not updated. The information has inaccurate information. As an example, here at Foothill, I have somebody named Steve working from 7 to 7:30. I know that that person's not working a half an hour. I don't know if they're working 12 hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but I know it's inaccurate. And in the letter that I submitted to him outlining the errors in this document, he said he would fix it and provide it to me. I have a meeting with him on Friday to meet and confer over this proposed change. And I still don't have that information. So I'm asking you to provide some guidance to Dr. Simon to sunshine proposals for 23-24 so we can begin bargaining on wages. I have a legitimate sunshine proposal. Provide the information and meet and confer with us in good faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you. California School Employees Association, oh, sorry.
Hello, my name is Ruta Nelson, and I am a representative of OE3 for the clerical unit. I just want to say that everything that you just heard from our representative is not the voice of the OE3 members, and that we have no voice. So you can disregard everything that you just heard, and if any one of you from the board would like to speak of any one of the OE3 stewards, please come to us and talk to us, because we have things to say. So regarding the custodial unit and the grievance that Mr. Huerta is wanting to file is not valid. So please come speak to us. We ask you, look to who your stewards are out of each unit, subunit, and ask for their voice. We're willing to talk, so please come find us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're at the California School Employees Association's number 326 and 648. Association of Management and Confidential Employees. Supervisory Unit. Now we're at 10.1, presentation for Loma Rica Elementary and Foothill Intermediate School Site Plan for the 2023-24 school year. Ashley?
Do we need to do anything?
Are you being serious right now?
Ronnie, Board Trustees, Cabinet, and Good evening, Dr. Ezrani, Board Trustees, Cabinet, and audience. My name is Ashley Betty, and this evening I get to share a brief snapshot of Loma Rica Elementary and Foothill Intermediate Schools with you. The purpose of our single plan for student achievement is to ensure that we have a guide for progress and success. In this presentation, you're going to see a very broad stroke of student achievement data, our site goals, and how that data drives our instructional decisions and our other site funding decisions to support our students best. Our preliminary CASP data is relatively static, and our goal was to see at least a 5% increase in both ELA and math across all grade levels. We fell short of the goal, but we immediately began looking at what we can do differently, what we can do better to increase student outcomes. We also have some areas to celebrate, and I'm going to focus on those as we move through the slides. If at any time we're going quickly and you're watching this back, feel free to pause the video so that you can see it in depth. And board trustees, you have a handout that has the same information in front of you. We're going to start with Loma Rica Elementary, home of the Mustangs. And some quick demographics about Loma Rica. We run at about 100 students. We have 5 certificated teachers, a total staff of about 17 people. Our classrooms are all combined grade levels because of our size, but really this allows us to run a really dynamic intervention program for all students. So here we're going to get into some data. This is our ELA data for Loma Rica. And if you look at chart 1, red is not so great. Green is where we want everybody to be. And in chart 2, that shows our ELA CASP data, and the little bouncing arrow next to the 34%, that's telling you that our scores did go up. Our number of students who met or exceeded the ELA standards went up from last year. And as I move through the presentation, you'll notice that all of the arrows are bouncing upward. So we do have upward trends. And in chart 3, that shows a comparison of the prior year in blue and last year's CASP data in red. And one of our celebrations was our 5th grade at Loma Rica. They had a 5% increase in their ELA scores. Math is similar looking. Scores were a little lower, but our 5th grade still had a pretty big gain from the prior year to last year's CASP. And our benchmark data, or our universal screener, what it really shows us is that our students are capable of performing better actually than they were performing on CASP. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to prepare our students for that end of year test. So we also look at attendance and discipline data when developing our site plan. And at Loma Rica, suspension data is relatively good. It says medium, but it's really not an issue in terms of student achievement as far as students missing class time. We do have over 20% of our students registering as chronically absent. That's an issue. And so the bar graph up at the top, that just shows where we were pre-pandemic, and then the gradual increase back to where we want to be. And so we have been making increases every year, and we're proud of our attendance data. This slide shows our total allocation and what we have to allocate in terms of our goals and our site plan funding. And now we're moving on to Foothill Intermediate School, where we are Crew. Some quick demographics about Foothill. We're running at about 210 students. We have 12 certificated teacher, one of which is itinerant, and we have about 24 total staff members. Something significant to recognize about Foothill, we serve students in a really big geographic area. And so we have students that come to us from 5 different feeder schools, and we also have students who live over an hour away from our school, which puts some of our kids on buses for almost 4 hours a day. And here we have our ELA data for Foothill. In chart 2, you can see that we had 35% of students meet or exceed the ELA standards. That was up almost 5% from the year prior, so we're moving in the right direction. We're tracking our universal screener data, And our celebrations down below are 6th and 7th graders made gains from the prior year. Here's our math data for Foothill, which again shows that on benchmarks on our universal screeners, we are actually scoring higher than we are on CASP. So we're starting to drill down and figure out the reason there. And if you look below at chart 3, that also shows our 6th and 7th grade made gains in math from the prior year. So our CAST data is something we wanted to celebrate. Our 8th graders went from 9% of students meeting and exceeding the standard up to 56%. That was a huge gain, and we're really proud of that. And attendance and discipline data for Foothill. Here, our discipline data could have an impact. We do have high suspension rates, but we're working to provide interventions and document those better. And so the chart with the light bulb shows our, it's an Aries chart in a way that we're working to track and provide interventions and keep track of that data a little bit better. And then Foothill has over 30% of students being registered as chronically absent, which is impactful. So we know that if students aren't at school and in the classroom, they're not learning. And that definitely matters in departmentalized course settings. You're missing a lot if you're not at school.
I'm not sure I understand.
And at Foothill, we have 122,290 in total allocations to address these needs. So most of our funding at Foothill, similarly at Lomarica, goes to goals 1 and 2, which addresses academic performance and attendance. So I'm going to run quickly through these slides if you need to pause them. There's a lot of information here. What it basically shows, Foothill on the blue side, Lomarica on the red side. In the black, it's all of our supports and the things that our site council and our teams have decided are priorities here. And then in the green down below on each slide, it'll show what success criteria is so that we know when we achieve our goal. So number 1, goal 1 is our academic performance criteria. And then LCAP goal 2 is for the physical, emotional, and safety needs of all students. And success here would be a decrease in suspension rates, an increase in attendance. And this area is where we also address our PBIS systems. And so we do dedicate a lot of resources to PBIS, improving attendance, improving behavior. And this year we were just recognized as a silver implementation school, both schools, Lomarica and Foothill. And the next few slides are just some snapshots of things that are important. I think it gives a good description of kind of campus life and the things that are important in both places. And goal 3 is a college and career readiness goal. For Foothill, this looks like implementation of AVID on a more broad spectrum. It looks like increased enrollment in our honors courses. At both schools, it would be student support and all the forms that comes in. For goal 4, it's support for our English learners. Goal 5 is support to our homeschool partnerships. And goal 6 is support for our special education students. And I wanted to just end with a little shout out, the Foothill construction project. I'd like to give kudos to my staff. We've basically moved an entire school from the main school building into 14 portables, which is our new home for the year. And doing all this in a matter of just a couple of months was really nothing short of magic. So the interior of our new spaces, they're clean, they're comfortable, they're full of life and happy students. Everyone's adapted well to new routines and procedures, and the group is feeling motivated to be the group that does the hard things so the community can enjoy a newly renovated and modernized facility. And our demo party is coming up very soon, so you're welcome to join us. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your ongoing support of our schools. I just have to end with, I know people stand up here and say that they have the best staff and students, but I really do work with the very best. Together with both teams, we're building schools that we're very proud of. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Ashley?
Great job. I did have a question on your Foothill demographics page. 210 students and below, I think the slide was cut off on the screen, but I'm reading it here, approximately 200 in athletic programs?
So that statistic is from last year. We had an increase, we had a decrease this year in enrollment. Yuba-Sutter and Dobbins have kept their sixth graders this year for construction. And so we've dipped a little, but yes, our athletic programs are big for Foothill. I would say on the almost the exact same level of Yuba Gardens and McKinney. So yeah, we serve the same amount. We have a lot of kids who come through. We have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teams, just like every other school.
That's an impressive turnout.
Thank you.
Good job.
And it was cut off. I think a banner had popped up, so I'll fix it if okay. Not. Thank you. I do just want to say to the district, those last slides, I didn't say it on the slide, but I do appreciate Ms. Pisalia and Mr. Trower and Dr. Ezrani have all those slides you saw at the end with the kids. It's really, truly been magical. So I know we're talking a little bit about that later, but please come and see what they've done and what we've done.
Are there any other questions for Ashley? All I can say is from my tour of your beautiful temporary campus is the energy and excitement of everybody out there. And hats off to Mr. Trower and his crew for getting that done, and absolutely miraculous.
It is miraculous.
And, but we certainly wish you well this year. Thank you. Thank you. Now we have a second presentation, McKinney Intermediate School Site Plan for the 23-24 school year.
Good evening, and Russell, we can start off.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Asrani, members of Executive Cabinet, and the community members in the audience this evening. It's a great pleasure that I present Anna McKinney's board presentation for the 2023-24 school year. Anna McKinney is an environment of excellence, and we take tremendous pride and ownership in creating this environment for the students that grace our halls. Anna McKinney Intermediate School serves 586 students ranging from 6th grade to 8th grade in the 7-period day with an intervention period known as Mustang Time. Anna McKinney Intermediate School is highlighted by several of the programs offered. Our honors, AVID, and music programs have all increased offerings this year, and our athletic programs served over 200 students last year. Our campus is the home for the district's regional emotionally disturbed special education program, as well as hosting the county's program for mild to moderately disabled students serviced through Annabelle Carr on the McKinney campus. Anna McKinney's SIPSA ensures that all children have an opportunity to receive a fair, equitable, high-quality education, as well as working to close the educational achievement gaps for all students, as well as our unduplicated student populations. Our SIPSA was developed with input from our stakeholders and is directly aligned with the LCAP goals set forth by NJUSD. Our school data sources are aligned with our LCAP indicators, and 3 separate areas will be highlighted in the upcoming slides. Our academic indicators are aligned around 2 indicators, our CASP data for ELA and math, and our universal screeners, STAR Reading and STAR Math. Our academic indicators show that our CASP, ELA, and math performances are mostly stagnant, but that will be discussed in a little more detail in the upcoming slides. Another area that is highlighted in our data is our school environment. This is represented by 2 different measures, chronic absenteeism and suspension rates. Our data shows that both chronic absenteeism and suspension rates are declining. Finally, one of our last LCAP indicators focuses on the students in our English Learner program. Student growth on the LPAC assessment is the indicator used to measure the effectiveness of our EL program. Our data shows that LPAC performance and growth are both increasing. On this slide, you'll find our preliminary CASP results. Some notable observations from our ELA CASP results: 6th grade performance and the slight decline in performance for both our 7th and 8th grades. Our universal screeners showed a decline in percentage on the STAR reading performance. All 3 grade levels were close to the district average with the 7th and 8th grade closely mirroring the district averages. On this slide, you'll find our preliminary CASP math data. Both our 6th and 8th grade CASP results decreased slightly, but our 7th grade math performance increased by 4%. Additionally, our 21-22 7th graders increased their proficiency as 8th graders, an increase of 6%. Also on this slide is our STAR math data. Of note is the 6% increase in performance of our 22-23 7th grade. Additionally, our 7th grade STAR math performance closely resembles the district's data. This slide shows the third measure of academic performance, the California Science Test, which is offered to our 8th grade students. Of note is our CAST performance from the 21-22 school year to the 22-23 school year, a 6% increase in the percentage of students that met or exceeded standards. Regardless, continued growth on the CAST is necessary. Our second area of focus is our school environment. Our school's chronic absentee rate is about 26%, which is slightly lower than the district's chronic absentee rate of approximately 30%. Of note, our school's chronic absentee rate decreased from the 21-22 school year. The second area of focus with our school environment is our suspension rate. The suspension rate for the 22-23 school year was 4.6%, a decrease of 0.2% from the prior year. The final data slide focuses on our English learner growth. 16 students were reclassified as proficient and exited from our English learner program. As stated earlier in this presentation, Anna McKinney Intermediate School has created a SIPSA that aligns with the LCAP goals for MJUSD. The next slides identify the actions that Anna McKinney will utilize to improve student achievement and the criteria used to determine success. Our first SIPSA goal addresses academic performance. The following activities support this goal are listed on this slide, highlighted by the retention of 2 student support specialists that serve as grade level liaisons who oversee and support their individual grade levels. Our second goal is built around creating a safe school environment that focuses on the physical, emotional, and safety needs of all students and staff. Listed below are the activities and the measures for success to meet those goals. Our third goal focuses on preparing every student for college and career readiness. Also listed on this slide are the activities that we use to meet this goal, as well as the measures for success. Our fourth LCAP goal focuses on creating a system of specific support for our English learners, foster, and low socioeconomic students. Listed on this slide are the activities used to achieve this goal, as well as how we will measure our success. Our fifth goal focuses on improving the home-school partnership. Listed on this slide are the activities that we use to meet this goal and how we will measure our success. And our sixth and final goal is improving access and inclusion opportunities for our special education students. Listed on this slide is the one activity that we use to achieve this goal and how we will measure our success. Our total budget for the 22-23 school year is $413,897. Our school site council will meet throughout the school year to adjust and discuss how to distribute the funds to best address the needs of this year's students based off of our site goals. Anna McKinney Intermediate School would like to thank the Board of Trustees, Dr. Asrani, and Executive Cabinet for your time this evening, and we look forward to providing the families of Anna McKinney Intermediate School with an environment of excellence. Have a wonderful evening.
Are there any questions for Mr. Hain? Well, it looks like you got some work cut out for you.
Yeah.
But it certainly looks manageable.
Last year, we devoted a lot of our attention to our math scores. We used some of those student support specialists that we had hired and devoted intervention times to raise those. And it was focused primarily on our 7th grade. So we kind of saw the results of that. But you're 100% correct. We have some work to do.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Hain? Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Okay. Now we have updates by the executive folks. Dr. Asrani.
So today, good evening to everybody who's here. Wanted to give a shout out to our principals. They do a tremendous job. And I also want to give a shout out to Angela. She was up here giving shout out to our assistant soups. But I don't know if you know that she spends 2 times a month with me, every week with Gabe, and tries to keep the communication open. That kind of dedication needs to be talked about. So there is there is a lot of time that she invests in making sure the communication happens, and that needs to be acknowledged. So I need to give her a shout out for her dedication. But today, instead of talking about anything, we wanted to share with you our goals and objectives. We started that last year. I think it's really important for the community to see the work the cabinet is doing and the board that supported those goals and the expectations you have of us, and also how we are meeting those goals and meeting the strategic plan that is driving the work we're doing. So it's a 7-minute quick presentation. And can you please, somebody play that for us? Thank you.
Good evening, MJUSD trustees and members of the community. On behalf of Dr. Asrani and the Executive Cabinet, today we will share the Executive Cabinet goals for the 23-24 school year and provide an update of the goals achieved in the 22-23 school year. Please note that each goal for each of the Cabinet team members is directly aligned to the 22-25 strategic plan. A quick recap of MJUSD. With 13 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 1 K-8, 1 7-12 charter, 3 comprehensive 9-12 high schools, 1 online school, 1 alternative school, and 9 preschool sites. MJUSD serves 10,599 students in TK-12, 400 students in preschool, and approximately 100 adult students at the start of this school year. The strategic plan developed and board adopted in June of 2022 has set the stage for the district's work for the next 3 years. We are starting year 2 of the plan. There are 5 distinct areas addressed in the plan: academic programs, budgeting process, community engagement, district culture, and personnel supports. In June of 2022, the district adopted the 22-25 strategic plan based on qualitative and quantitative research that was gathered through internal and external meetings, as well as an in-depth community survey. Over 1,000 participants were involved in the process. The areas that were identified for focus for the district are listed here. You will see that each of these are included in the goals for each of the cabinet members in the following slides. As the saying goes, plans are only good intentions unless they immediately generate into hard work. The MJUSD strategic plan has become an action plan both for the cabinet and for every individual department director. In Goal 1, the Educational Services Division demonstrated significant progress in 22-23, which targeted reading and learning for all students. This began with the development of a graduate profile designed to guide and drive our collective work. Key actions and achievements included the development and early implementation of our TK-3 literacy plan, as well as student results, an 11% increase in reading by the end of the year. Additional focus areas for educational services involved acceleration and intervention, which saw impressive gains in student learning experiences such as honors, AP, and after-school learning opportunities. Mental health and partnership, which resulted in excess of $14 million new dollars coming to our district. Thoughtful development of systems of supports guided by school community needs. And purposeful evidence-based professional supports and services to guide our continuous improvement and improve results. Though progress is clear, our students need more. We are committed to this vision with high energy, laser-like focus, and action. We've made great progress with Strategic Plan Goal 2 and our budget processes. Throughout the year, we held board study sessions with capital advisors and our labor partners, where we learned about up-to-date state budget information. Each interim financial update included a board presentation. We held monthly financial advisory committee meetings with staff, parents, community members, and board trustees. Our budget centers around our students, and we have established district-wide collaborative practices to ensure resources and services align with our district priorities, the strategic plan, LCAP, and school site plans. Additionally, we have started several facility projects as listed here. Accomplishments of the actions identified in the Strategic Plan Goal 3 are as follows. Marysville School for Adults was reopened in August of 2022 and served over 250 students last year. Parent institutes have continued through peak and adult ed courses. The district student leadership group is firmly established as the Student Engagement and Leadership, or SEAL team, and meets monthly. Multicultural parent and community meetings and LCAP parent meetings have been introduced at each school. Monthly Superintendent Advisory Committee meetings have continued, and monthly Let's Connect parent Zoom meetings are held. We also welcomed improved and expanded community partnership with multiple agencies as listed in the slide. In Strategic Plan Goal 4, professional development offerings continue to expand, including sessions for classified staff. We are also committed to increasing collaboration with all educational partners, including students, labor groups, and parents. We are using every form of media available to us to celebrate the great work being done in MJUSD. In Strategic Plan Goal 5, personnel supports include the recruitment and retention of highly qualified staff to support our students and families. Practices and protocols have been streamlined, and monitoring of enrollment in CBA class size language has helped ensure equitable allocation of personnel. Employee supports have been developed to include employee orientations and site-based mentoring, as well as job-embedded personal growth. This area will be a continued focus for 23 and 24. For the past 2 years, the district team has also narrowed down its actions to 3 areas to better coordinate the district and community actions, to improve community confidence in MJUSD, and to celebrate our successes and best practices. The 23-24 school year goals for the superintendent include increased opportunities for collaboration and improved community confidence, further alignment of budgets to support improved facilities and programs, ongoing focus on improving site and district safety protocols, and development of a data dashboard to share district-wide progress in student performance data. This year, educational services will be focused on 4 areas. 1, developing a district dashboard for progress and achievement monitoring. 2, extending the work of the graduate profile to support learning recovery and acceleration. 3, increasing efforts to ensure college and career readiness. And 4, implementing strategies to support special education realignment for inclusion. For the 23-24 school year, business services will focus on 3 areas. 1, improve site and department budget development. 2, identify fiscal allocations for enrollment growth. And 3, identify fiscal resources for the district's facilities improvements and updates. This year, administrative services will be focused on 3 areas. 1, increased attendance. 2, staff and student wellness and safety. And 3, a plan to accommodate the new housing developments happening throughout the district. This year, personnel services will be focused on the following 3 areas. 1, expanding new teacher support for improved retention. 2, implementing a plan to improve staff morale. And 3, establishing a collaborative environment with our educational partners. Thank you for your time.
So also at this time, I'd like to have Mr. Jay Trujillo introduce a couple of teachers and a couple of comments.
Yes, as you saw, one of the goals for educational services is the idea of redesigning supports and services of special education to help focus on the area of inclusion. And tonight, I'm going to ask to have come forward Ms. Jolie Critchfield, who can just come and be recognized too, but we also have 2 teachers who she will introduce and ask them to come forward as well.
Okay, we have Linda Duenas. She is our general education preschool teacher at Linda School. And Sophia Efimoff. Did I say that right? Efimoff. Okay, and she is the SDC preschool at Linda School as well. So.
Hello, my name is Linda Duenas. I'm the general education teacher at Linda Preschool.
I am Sophia Efimoff, the SDC teacher at Linda's Preschool.
Together we have begun the journey of inclusion. Inclusion is not the easiest path to take, but it is definitely the right path to take.
Children in the SDC classroom typically struggle with communication and social skills. This means that there is little to no access to interested communication partners. Students may have little desire to try new things. Children often prefer self-directed, independent play. Structured activities, circle times, and even cooperative play opportunities are often non-preferred, which leads to a lack of peer role models.
When we started inclusion this school year, it was noticeable that many children isolated and tended to play with the same toys in the same areas day to day.
In addition, the children were protesting and or crying as they transitioned from a highly preferred outdoor play to the general education classroom. Within 1 week, instead of playing outside, most of the children would run straight to Miss Linda's classroom. That classroom has become the highly preferred place to be.
The children and the staff have very quickly become a part of our school family. The students have made friendships and have started exploring new areas of the classroom, expanding their learning experiences with a variety of activities such as dancing, dramatic play, painting, and sensory opportunities.
Children who started out with very limited interest, such as playing alone with magnetic letters or looking at books by themselves, are looking at books with peers, playing musical instruments with friends, and preparing food with others in the play kitchen. We see true friendships developing and connections are being made.
During circle time, children are helping other children with movements of the songs. They naturally see a peer needing support and are so happy to provide it. They are building connections without adult interventions.
We have a long way to go. This is just the very beginning.
Some days are easier than others. Some days are exhausting and overwhelming.
These are the days that we learn the most, the days we adapt and truly learn the meaning of inclusion. We are not perfect.
We may not even be good at inclusion yet, but we are growing. I've learned new ways to communicate with all children, like using sign language and visuals. I've learned how to approach things in a way that best supports the children, how to replace hurtful behaviors with helpful behaviors. I have learned to adapt everything from activities to communication to the environment. The only thing I really haven't adapted is the expectation of providing the highest quality learning environment for all of my students.
The staff are not the only ones to benefit from inclusion. More importantly, all children are benefiting. Children in both general and special education are getting the opportunity to be of service to others. They are getting the chance to notice each other's strengths and areas of growth, to work together as a school family. They are learning the give and take of relationships, and they are learning that they belong.
Inclusion is something that can't be taught in a book.
It needs to be taught from the heart.
Good thing we have a lot of heart at MJUSD.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board for her executive cabinet or for the superintendent? If not, we'll move on to the next item, if I can find it again. Yeah, I'm out of place. Yeah. No, we're done with that. That's what I get for flipping ahead. I noticed they approved the minutes, and I gotta find it again. Okay, we're at 12.1, approval of the 8/15/2023 regular board minutes. Are there any additions or changes to those minutes that the board would consider? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Ms. Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Stephen. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Now we have the approval of the consent agenda items. Are there any items in the consent agenda items that any of the members would like to pull?
I like to entertain what Muta requested, which was to pull 1411.
Say that again.
I'd like to entertain what Muta requested. Was that correct? Was 1411? Not to pull it, but I would like Jay to address the items that were brought up. So item 1411, which is the CTE agreement for the new course, right? And so, for example, one of the items, I have to pull back my notes. One of the items that were brought up was, for example, it was not an A through G course. And if you can address the set of items that that Muta brought up, just so that I get a good understanding where it stands.
Yeah, thank you. The students who are targeted for this course are some of our most at-risk students in 10th grade and above. That is, they are exceedingly credit deficient at this moment. The course is designed to address their needs, specifically as it relates to career exploration, which is why that particular course is under the banner of CTE. It is not a A through G approved course, so that would be true.
Please refrain from speaking from the audience. Please continue, Mr. Trullo.
Yes, with respect to the process, this course did come forward at the last minute. There was efforts to try to support the school by including this course at the beginning of the school year. There were some process issues that did come forward, and so we did address those. We have straightened up our processes, and going forward, we will ensure that all courses for submission as new courses in the district will follow that process. Ms. Stratton and I will both ensure that going forward.
Any other comments?
So when I looked at the units, because it's outlined well, there's in the coursework, there's 5 units, right? So my question would be is, because this is a new high school course, the assumption here is that the targeted students that will be attending this course are CTE students, right?
That's correct.
And so CTE students, do they normally attend, A through G is a requirement for the UCs and CSUs. Do the CTE students normally attend the CSUs or UCs?
I would say several of them do, whether I can't speak to whether it's most of them or not, because many of our CTE pathways and courses are in fact A through G. They aren't all A through G. We do have some that are not. This course, again, is targeting, according to my conversation with the principal, is targeting students who are exceedingly credit deficient. So it may be that these students would benefit from a course that's not A through G approved, given that they're going to focus on, if you will, study skills and career exploration that's going to best serve them and hopefully allow them to recapture some motivation and engagement in school to be successful going forward. That's what this course is designed for.
So is any of the items covered in the units currently being covered in any of the coursework that's currently today? So for example, I'm looking at here, when I looked at it, Unit 2, for example, is career exploration and academic success. If I was, let's say, a Lyndhurst student, right, would I be able to take another course that would cover Unit 2 and address the core concern of what Muta brought up, which is that it would be an A through G qualified course? And there is one item that I didn't hear you address, was that we were double counting units. I want to make sure that that is addressed. Are we, in fact, double counting units for this course?
And this particular course, the CTE course, no, I don't believe that we are double counting units.
We're only accounting this towards graduation requirement though, right? Is that correct? Is that the only area that we're, because I'm looking at the request for a new course, the area that it qualifies for is subject area 1, right? And it's Z elective.
Yes, it's only designed for graduate credit attainment, that's correct.
Okay, okay. How about the prior question that I asked? Could a student get career exploration, academic success elsewhere in A through G course currently if I was a Lyndhurst student?
Outside of this course, I'm not aware whether or not that particular unit would be accessible or available in another course. That would be something I would have to investigate further, but to my knowledge, no.
Amy, would you like to make some comments?
I was just here to support Jay and some of the questions he might have.
Is there anything that I've indicated that needs to be clarified or expanded upon?
This course, the CTE Pathways, it is a generic CTE course that it allows students to explore different avenues of CTE. The course is designed to give kids a broad breadth of what CTE pathway courses are out there. It is designed to help support those students that need a different pathway and to help them explore what is available to them. That is the purpose of the class. It is a CTE class being taught by a CTE teacher.
So one more item. Assuming that I did a good job capturing all of the items that Muta brought up. The last one was about the textbook and supplemental material. And when I look at the document, the proposal for new high school courses, when I go down to the last page, it says no new textbook will be required. Is the current book, is there no textbook in this coursework?
They're going to be using the Get Focused, Stay Focused curriculum.
And is that a curriculum that's already adopted by the district?
That is a curriculum that's already in our district, yes. Lyndhurst has been using the Get Focused, Stay Focused for several years. I don't think they're using it this year, but they've used it in the past for several years.
I have a question.
It's not the first time in our district.
This overview looks a lot to me like Avid. Avid?
It is really, the overview is they're really looking at a 10-year plan. It's looking at specifically the CTE. They may be using some of the Avid-like strategies or some of those Avid getting kids ready and prepared for post-high school, but it really is focusing on it. Where am I going to be in 10 years? What are the avenues? What are the careers that I'm interested in? And what do I need to do to prepare for those careers and have what I need in place to be successful?
Just for full clarity, could you give me 5 or 6 examples of what do we mean by CTE careers?
I'm going to
Because I want to make sure that there's a distinction, right? So that when we're talking about A through G course requirements, we have a clear understanding of what careers students who are in the pathway of going to UC and CSU, right? And if we're talking about CTE, I want to have a clear understanding of what is the career pathway for those who are going to that path.
I think that college and careers, when you're asking about AVID, there are lots of similarities between AVID and Get Focused, Stay Focused. It really is preparing students for that next phase of their life. And like Mr. Trujillo said, it's not exclusive of just going out and going to work. In order to do that, some students take a path through college and other students don't. And so career preparedness really is large and broad depending upon the course of study that the students are in. What type of post-secondary training, if any, do they need in order to enter into that career path?
I'll just say it here. So let's say next week. Okay. So all of our CTE pathways, they have a sequence of courses that the kids take. They take the first class, the second class, third class. Concentrators or the intro concentrators. This particular pathway is kind of a broad
overview.
Introduction to almost like everything. It is just that big, broad introduction. It is not a specific pathway to a specific CTE, like welding or construction or culinary. It is a bigger, broader breadth of what CTE has to offer, and then the students could go into a specific pathway that they've learned or discovered through this course.
I'm going to be more frank.
Okay.
If the textbook was actually being used at Lyndhurst and it's no longer being used, the assumption behind that is that there's going to be a course that was covering this set of topics, right? And so, what happened to that course? And why would this course? What is the difference between this course and the course that was using this textbook?
So the Get Focused, Stay Focused was the component of careers out at Lyndhurst High School. When the careers graduation requirement went away, Lyndhurst High School moved into the avenue of opening up more CTE pathways for their students. But the same base curriculum is now being used at Marysville High School in a freshman seminar type of a course. This course is also using that same framework of preparing students for their careers and targeting those students that are having a hard time excelling where they need to be and in a remediation type of credit or in a way to bring students in smaller class sizes, give them more attention, and making that hook and connection through careers, drawing the relevancy to their future and what students are going to need, maybe that motivation to get them back on track.
So circling back to what Ms. Hasty says, back to the kids, is this being captured somewhere else in another course?
To be taught by a CTE credentialed teacher? No.
What's the course that's being captured right now?
Ms. Stiegel wants to
No, I just want Ms. Stiegel to tell me
I-
the course, that's it.
She's been screaming from her chair,
You're right.
and I've been waiting to call you up.
Here I am.
So you're up.
You're on.
So we have a number of courses that already capture this content. We have any number of CTE courses. We have AVID. We have freshman seminar. We have a number of even our social science classes that capture all of this. This is an absolute farce, and you are being lied to. And I tried to be nice about it earlier. I tried to really almost kind of like sugarcoat it because I was really hoping that people could just absolutely see what was going on for what it's worth. This class is a joke. This class never came from any teacher on this campus at all. What this actually started out as is a credit repair class from last year that could technically at that point in time be taught by anybody. It was a non-credit bearing class. It did not have a grade. It was a class period for students to go and work on credit repair is exactly what it was. Now this year, we actually have a situation where we have somebody who does not have a proper credential, so now we are creating a class in order to fit somebody's credential, as opposed to doing what is actually needed for our students. This class came from our principal who actually made that decision, who did that hiring, who should not have. And so now we have a class where we've got kids 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a class period, while the rest of our site, we have 36 in our classes. And the students who are in there signed up in January and February thinking that they were going to be taking a class period of credit repair. And instead, now they're having this crammed down their throat because the teacher who happens to be there is a CTE teacher. So we're creating a class to fit somebody's credential, as opposed to actually creating classes to fit what our students need. Our students already have this curriculum. Our students are already getting exactly what this is asked for. I have tried to be nice about this. I have tried really hard. I have talked to people. And I am always the bad guy. It's always the one that I'm making people look bad. I'm not making people look bad. I didn't dream this up. I'm not the one that created this and then didn't even follow the district's own protocol. And when I get up here tonight to say so, I'm then told, oh no, we went through the protocol. No, you did not. These courses should start with teachers, not with a principal.
Question. What class teaches those skills?
Yeah, that's the question I was asking.
Just about every single one of our introductory CTE courses, when you're talking about a career pathway, every first year career pathway course covers the vast majority of this. Also our AVID class, as Mrs. Hasty pointed out, this is within AVID. We also still have freshman seminar. It's included within freshman seminar. It's also included, some of it is included even within some of our social science classes. When you start getting into things like some of our econ and civics classes, some of this comes up as well. And so it is covered. This is a farce and a joke.
I would disagree with you that it's covered, Angela, because you need to have an expert teaching expert material. I'm not going to go in and teach your class. Hold on a minute. You had the floor. Hold on. You had the floor. Let me talk. Look, as the mission and vision statement says, we all need to abide by and should look at this thing as it fits to a mission and vision. We need to apply accommodations to serve all students, the whole child. You agree with that? Okay. We're just trying to get the facts on this, okay? I mean, you had 10 minutes to talk. I respect that. I want to find out what the facts really are. And if that's the case, that's the case. I mean, I'm all for CTE. I mean,
So
really, not every kid's going to go to college.
Right.
There is no fiscal impact on this. And if this, what you're saying, we already have this, then you tell me why we're suffering on the dashboard for CTE completers and such. So you answer that.
It has nothing to do with this class, I could tell you that.
Well, listen, overall, are we serving the CTE students? I don't think we are right now to a full capacity. So talking about this is good, but also coming up with some solutions is even better.
You want a solution? How about we start a teacher career pathway at both of our high schools since we have a teacher shortage and we know it. We also just started another pathway at our site that has to do with public safety and public service. And so start some actual career pathways instead of a class that has been devised and been developed that is a patent lie, that is nothing but just a cover for something else, that had no input from a staff, that had no input from the counselors, had no input from students or parents. That's what I mean by it's a joke. I'm not talking about CTE being a joke. We have a healthy CTE program at our high school.
I'm not saying that we don't. I'm talking about the results in the end. So with that, we need to take a look at every piece of that foundation to see if it's solid. And if it is, it is. If it's not, then we need to look at it and make sure that it aligns with the mission and vision.
A solid foundation does not start on a pack of lies, which is what this is. And I apologize for the fact that I am so heated with you all, since it's not like you wrote this up, but I have been talking and asking questions, and I've gone to people and I've gone to people and I've tried to have this rectified and tried to have it rectified. And at every turn, it's just like, oh yes, we hear you. And then it crops right back up again. And as far as like sending it back to the site for it to go through the protocols, it didn't go back to the site and go through the protocols. It went back to the site and did the same thing it had done before, which was all big secrecy. Nobody knows anything. There was not a single conversation between the original submission and this so-called revised submission. And actually, if you look at page 3 of the actual course request, it tells you right there that part of the issue, part of the requirement for the class is that students are also supposed to be doing Edmentum. And so, Dr. Yang, there's your double counting of credits, which is exactly what this was originally proposed as. And some of us who are at the site and see this every day and actually know what's going on and know the truth of it can sit and tell you that this is exactly what's going on.
So what are we doing for the 10th and 11th graders that are struggling right now that probably won't be going to college? They may be doing some adult ed if they don't make it. But if they do, what are we doing for them in supporting them with career technical education pathways, et cetera? What do we do for them?
Any number of our career pathways. There's nothing on our campus that says that you have to be college prep to take a career pathway.
Okay.
Mr. Davis.
Jay, let me get a clarification from you. So I gave Ms. Siegel the opportunity to name the class. What I was actually looking for is, was there a singular class that currently we have today that wraps around the 5 items that's in the coursework, right? That's really the question here. Is that, for example, Unit 5 looks at social emotional learning, wellness, and life management. Within this class, the students are expected to put down a plan for a 4-year graduation, right? So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a student who is credit deficient, who may not be attending college, right? Who needs to not be taking 4 or 5 classes to get all 5 items that are on the list, right? So my question is, does that class exist today?
There is not another class that contains the depth of all of the units or the content of the curriculum that's currently, it's going to exist in this new class that we're bringing forward. It would be true that there are some small pieces or elements or superficial coverage in other courses. Let's take AVID, for example. The AVID course does talk about career exploration. It does talk about college degrees, but the students identified for AVID and the students identified for this course are completely different. There is a need. We do have a group of students who are exceedingly credit deficient. Right now, they're at significant risk of graduating. We have a course that meets their needs with the identified content that's in there. We have a teacher that's credentialed to offer it, and we don't have any other course of its kind in the district that is currently being offered.
Thank you. That answered my question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm good on the item then.
Thank you. Now I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to.
Dr. Yang has a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Doug Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda is passed. 6-0. Now we move to new business. The first item is 18.2, hold a public hearing and approve the resolution 2023-24/02 for compliance with pupil textbook and instructional materials incentive program act.
Good evening. So this is a routine agenda we put on there to state that we need to hold a public hearing and approve the resolution to show that all of our students have access to textbooks across the district. At this point, to my knowledge, we either have all books in hands of students or we actually have them on order in some cases, but they are on order. We do need to approve the resolution to keep our required deadlines. Mr. Davis, your mic is muted. Can you turn on your mic?
Sorry, I lose track. Now we need a motion to approve the resolution 2023-24/02 for the compliance with the pupil textbook and instructional materials incentive program act. Motion approved by Gary Criddle. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you, Amy. Now we have 18.1. That's a different. Anyway, it's 18.1. Approve and adopt the board policy 6146.1 high school graduation requirements.
So back in June, I had asked the board to review and make two changes on our requirements for high school graduation. One would be to remove the health credit, and the second one was for adult ed to take the graduation requirements to 160 units. This has been sitting here. We're trying to come back and finish this up. I am asking the board to go ahead and approve that. There are two errors on the board policy that I bypassed and neglected to notice. On the front page, the credits are identified correctly, but if you look on page 3, the chart for alternative diploma, and on page 4, the chart for adult ed, I failed to fix the traditional column diploma for those same 5 credits for health. So those two charts will need to be updated to match the front page, which is correct and accurate.
Are there any questions for Amy? You want your public comment now? Please. Ms. Stiegel.
So I'm not under any delusions of grandeur that it's going to make any difference at all. But if you would actually look at the documents for this, you'll notice that starting off right at the very top, even the dates that are on this document are not correct. This was not last revised on June 13th. That would actually be June 28th, 2022. Just a year ago, we had 3 board meetings. It took us to get this pushed through because we couldn't get the charts and the math to add up. And it's not just a matter of the charts being off because of the health deal. Last time I checked, if you take 30 plus 40 plus 30 plus 30 plus 20 plus 40 plus 20, that's 210 as opposed to the 220 that's listed on page 3 in the traditional column. Also, if you look at page 4 for the adult education, the traditional diploma is off. Those numbers actually add up to 180. As well, the adult diploma that the total is listed at 160 flies right in the face of the preamble on that very page that talks about it has to be a minimum of 180 semester units. Additionally, if you compare this to the document that you guys approved, the policy you approved on June 28th, 2022, the numbers do not add up. And additionally, as I'm sure you've already been made aware, the June 28th, 2022 document is not available for anybody publicly because when you look in our board policies, actually the one that's on there is the one from 2019. And so how anybody in this community or any employee in this district besides myself would have been able to get up here and tell you this is kind of beyond me. But also, when you look at the chart for the traditional diploma, where it says that there's 10 credits required for CTE for UC-CSU, that is also incorrect. But maybe if we had any of these policies actually include any teachers or anything in the conversations, we might be able to kind of help those situations a little bit. So just thought I'd point those out to you. I believe you all are being asked to just go ahead and approve it anyway with all the errors and everything in it, and I'm not going to be overly shocked to see you guys do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy, if we were to hold off on approving this and get those charts straightened out for the next board meeting, would there be any loss of the effort?
There would, Mr. Davis, to prolong we recognize that the charts have to be updated and we're prepared to bring those new charts to you at the October board meeting. But to hold off any longer on the graduation requirement change essentially creates a little bit of concern and fear out amongst our students and our staff and our families, because right now health is hovering as a necessity for example, current seniors. And so that's already been and or causing a fair amount of unrest for the first, couple of months of the school year. And we'd like to get it buttoned up, get it agreed upon to change, and then let us come back with the correct charts and add in math in October, and we'll bring that to you.
Are there any questions from the board? If not, do I hear a motion?
Yeah, just a quick clarification. What's the benefit of keeping the 5-unit mandatory health class to a student?
That's a great question. Right now, we don't have any other course, to my knowledge, that's a 5-unit course. And by continuing with the health graduation requirement, essentially removes opportunities for students to accelerate and or to remediate credits. So it sort of hurts on both ends of the spectrum. To remove it then allows, essentially, it frees up a student's schedule in order to take courses that they either need or want to take, rather than having this 5-unit course, health, sort of like be a requirement for graduation.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion? Approved? Okay. Gary Kittle has a motion on the floor to approve. Do I hear a second? Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Please get those charts fixed as soon as possible. Thank you. Now we're at 19.1. Approve the side letter of agreement between MJUSD and MUTA regarding the Lyndhurst High School's intervention program extension for the 2023-24 school year.
Good evening. Thank you, President Davis and trustees. This is the intervention period was established in 21-22 at Lyndhurst High by unanimous staff support. It was extended last year as well. We want to continue that extension versus just drafting another agreement that has the same terms and conditions. MUTA is an agreement on that and has signed the agreement to extend the intervention period to support students at that site.
Are there any questions for Dr. Simon? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Gary Criddle. All those in, do I hear a second? Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you. Now we're at 20.1, presentation review and approval of the 2023 Unaudited Actuals Financial Report. Jennifer?
Thank you. I have a recorded presentation. We'll start it now. Thank you.
President Davis, fellow trustees, Superintendent Asrani, Cabinet, and our MJUSD community. I'm Jen Pasalia, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, and I will summarize the 2022-23 Unaudited Actuals. I will talk about the budget cycle, compare the estimated actuals to the unaudited actuals, the general fund ending fund balance, the variance summary, components of fund balance, the Gann limit, COVID relief funds, and looking forward. Under current law, a school district must adopt its budget by July 1st and submit a report of actual financial results to the County Office of Education for the prior fiscal year by September 15th. The next step is to provide those actual financial results for independent review and audit by the district's independent external auditors, who prepare a final audit report to be presented to the Board of Education in January 2024. As you can see from this chart, the budget is a living document that takes life on July 1st and includes financial updates throughout the fiscal year. We'll be back in December for the 23-24 first interim financial report, and in January, we will hear from the governor's budget proposal for the 24-25 fiscal year. February, the 23-24 second interim financial report will be presented to the board, and the 24-25 LCAP and budget planning will occur from April through May. And in June, we'll bring the LCAP and budget before the board for adoption, which then will start the budget cycle all over again. The general fund is comprised of unrestricted and restricted funds. The unrestricted funds include the primary operations of the district. The state, federal, and local grants fund the restricted budget, and these funds are limited to the programs and purposes outlined by each grant or allocation. At the adoption of the 2023-24 budget in June, estimated actual financial amounts for the 2022-23 were presented as part of the budget forms. A comparison of what was estimated in June versus actual financial amounts will be provided in the upcoming slides. We will begin with the unrestricted general fund. Unrestricted revenues closed the year with an increase of $1.5 million, and expenditures resulted in a savings of $16.2 million for a total increase of $17.7 million to the ending balance. Unrestricted expenditures include salaries and benefits, books and supplies, other services and operations, capital outlay, and contributions to our routine maintenance and special education programs. Items such as textbooks, supplies for the classroom, custodial, vehicle repair, and fuel are captured in books and supplies. Other services and operating expenses include agreements for services, equipment repair, utilities, and travel and conference expenses. 97% of unrestricted revenue comes from our local control funding formula, or LCFF. Salary and benefits are more than half of the unrestricted expenditures. The restricted general fund closed 22-23 with a decrease of $37.2 million in revenues and $45 million in savings in expenditures for a total increase to the fund balance of $7.8 million. 48% of restricted revenues come from the state grants and allocation, and more than half of our expenditures are for salary and benefits. The combined general fund reflects a $33 million decrease in overall revenue and $58 million savings in expenditures for an approximate $25 million increase to the ending fund balance. 61% of total revenues are from the local control funding formula, and 73% of expenditures go towards our salary and benefits. Here's a summary of the total ending fund balance. The ending balance increased from $62 million at estimated actuals to $87.7 million, an increase of $25.7 million. The $25.7 million increase is due to various reasons. The increase in the unrestricted funds can be attributed to savings and carryover in site allocations and contributions and one-time projects. Those one-time projects are high school tracks, and that will carry over into the next budget year. The 7.8 increase to the restricted fund balance is due to a decrease in learning recovery funds and one-time funds that will move over into the next year for our Covalot and Foothill projects. And some restricted revenues like Title I and COVID relief funds are subject to unearned revenue, which means that we can't recognize that revenue until we spend it. The ending fund balance of $87.6 million is comprised of $30,000 in revolving cash, $400,000 in stores, $41 million in restricted balances, $5 million in reserve for economic uncertainty, $11 million committed to facilities, safety and technology, and $30 in other assignments. This is a snapshot of the COVID relief funds the district has received. ESSER 3 has a remaining balance of $1.4 million with a spending deadline of September 2024. Every year with the unaudited actuals, the Board of Education authorizes the Gann limit resolution. The Gann limit, also known as Proposition 4, was approved by voters in 1979 to keep state and local government spending capped at the 1978-79 spending levels. For school districts, the limit may be an issue if revenues from taxes increase at a greater rate than ADA and inflation, or if the district experiences a drop in ADA. So beginning in 1987, school districts are able to request the state to share some of the state's limit to cover the shortfall. This is automatic in the standardized account code structure software that incorporates the Gann limit worksheet and request. MJUSD's Gann limit worksheet can be found on pages 110 through 112 in the 22-23 unaudited actual packet. EdCode requires that school boards adopt a resolution identifying the estimated spending limit for the current year and the actual spending limit for the preceding fiscal year by September 15th. Looking forward, we'll see you in December with our 2023-24 first interim financial report. In January, we'll hear what the governor proposes for the 2024-25 fiscal year. And then in March, we'll see you for the 23-24 second interim financial report. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Cindy Helms, the Director of Fiscal, and her team for all her hard work in closing the books this year. And also thank you this evening for listening to my presentation.
Thank you, Jennifer. Are there any questions from the board concerning the unaudited actuals for 2022-23?
I know that the next item is approving the Gann limit, but I was just hoping you could kind of give me an explanation more. This is the first time I've heard of this. I've been here 3 years and I've never what is a Gann limit?
It's something that comes forward every year. It's part of the unaudited actuals. As the presentation indicated, it was passed back in 1979. It's kind of an outdated resolution, but it's required by law, and it's part of our SACS, which is the reporting software we use to update all our financials to the state. And that's what the auditors use as their basis for auditing every year, the external independent auditor. It's really just proclaims school districts, but municipalities, any kind of government, that we're going to keep our spending within the inflation rates, and we're not going to exceed our revenue. And it's kind of a, I don't know, I could get you more information on it.
In a nutshell, has the limit gone up or gone down?
It kind of goes up as inflation goes up, and there's an automatic limit in there where the state captures any shortfalls as an LEA may have. I don't know if we're hitting it or missing it. I don't get an error when we report everything out on the worksheet, which is included in the packet.
Just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Well, it certainly looks like we're on the right track, given the economic situation that we have. Are there any other questions for Jennifer? If not, do I hear a resolution? Do I hear a motion? Motion to approve. Thank you, Ms. Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Now we're at 20.2, approve the resolution 2023-24/01, adoption of the 2023-24 Gantt limit and the 2022-23 recalculations.
It's the Gann limit resolution.
Are there any questions for Jennifer? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Ms. Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Approved. Passes 6-0. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Now we have 2023, approve the resolution 2023-24/03, National School Lunch Week.
Hello, good evening. I come here annually to ask the board to approve this resolution proclaiming the week of October 9th through the 13th as National School Lunch Week, and will celebrate the role that school meal programs have on our school community.
Are there any questions? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion to approve by Mr. Steeman. Is there a second? Second. Second by Doug Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you very much. Now we're at 20.4, select auto construction for the Foothill Intermediate School Modernization Project and ratify the agreement for the pre-construction services and the leaseback construction services.
Hi, good evening again. Thank you. The district issued a request for proposal in July of 23 for pre-construction and leaseback services for the Foothill Modernization Project. And on August 14th, 2023, we received one proposal from Auto Construction, and we are asking that the board approve and ratify the pre-construction contract of $15,000, and we'll come back to you once we have a leaseback agreement.
Are there any questions for Jennifer? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion by Mr. Steeman. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0.
I just thought it might be a worthwhile comment for Ms. Basilia to tell us who Auto Construction is.
Thank you. Yes, Auto Construction, they are the vice president of Auto Construction, who he wasn't able to be here tonight. He had a conflict in his schedule. It lives 3 miles from Foothill Intermediate. His 2 sons attended Foothill, and his project manager or superintendent, I might be mixing up the title, he's from this local area also, and they're very excited to be a part of our school district community and give back to our students.
Wonderful. Meeting adjourned.
Here filling in for Jim. Hello again, Jared.
Hello again, Marjorie. Great to be with you.
Nice to see you. I should say we're here on Tuesdays and we're here on Fridays as well. So we are just days into the shutdown.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.